How much does timing play into the success of Kendrick Lamar? So in a recent interview with Elsie Not Elise, TDE's Punch had a conversation about the impact and a release of To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. Now, as an art lover and person that appreciates Kendrick as myself, I loved the direction of To Pimp a Butterfly at the time. But the question I wonder about is if this project could have shaped his career from that point on. And if that album was not released in that particular way that he released that, how would his career look now? Now, there's a little clip that's going to add a little bit more clarity to what I'm saying here, and then we'll get into some questions.
Gotcha.
While we were working on To Pimp a Butterfly, me and SZA would go to Beyonce's sessions, and she was writing for her. Jay-Z was there every night, so I had a chance to talk to him, and I told him, I'm like, yo, we already dropped this album that's gonna piss off the whole fan base. And his response was, good, do it now so they can't never put you in a box. And that just stuck with me for sure. So it gave me, like you said, when I told Q, keep coming back, it gave me like more confidence, like, yeah, we on the right track. It's rules that's set. The geniuses know when to break those rules.
So yeah, so with that being said here, would we view Kendrick differently if he dropped To Pimp a Butterfly later in his career rather than earlier? And or if his order of projects were different, does it change his trajectory as an artist? Terry, I'll let you talk.
Yeah, I don't know if it necessarily would have affected an artist like Kendrick. And it's kind of, to me, it's based off of none of his albums have the same trajectory, so to speak. So I think we were talking a little bit before the show. If he dropped To Pimp a Butterfly right now, it still would fit in today's climate.
What if after Good Kid, Mad City, he drops GNX?
I don't think that works.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't think that works because GNX. The thing about GNX,
or even Mr. Morale, though.
or Mr. Morale,
that
that definitely won't work because he's already, to Jay-Z's credit, saying to drop this now since you already got it in the chamber. I can see how that album differed a whole lot from Good Kid, Mad City. I know they like to compare Good Kid, Mad City to like a movie. What's the name? To Pimp a Butterfly to like the novel, Damn to like a print book or something like that. That's how they kind of evolve his albums. But I feel like Kendrick is such a unique artist that, I guess I can't really say that, man. I think it was dropped at the perfect time. I would just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Because what it was and what it meant, and it's still around and circulating today. And it actually wasn't the album that was put in the Smithsonian, right? It's the Damn. Damn is the one.
Well, Damn got the Pulitzer.
The Pulitzer.
I don't know which one's in the Smithsonian.
That one is in the Smithsonian. Then I was flip flopping them, but
yeah.
I feel like Kendrick is just one of those artists that he doesn't just make music to be making music. He makes an artistic expression. But yeah, I feel like he did drop it at the right time, especially considering the climate of what was going on at that point in time. I remember waiting to vote, listening to We Gonna Be All Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like it made a lot of sense. And although it would make a lot of sense, it made a lot of sense then, it would still make sense now. But I can't see flip-flopping GNX with that particular release.
I think that's the way I kind of look at it. And then I'll come to you, Byron. But I the way that I kind of look at it is, I feel like To Pimp a Butterfly could be placed almost anywhere in time.
Mm-hmm.
But for Kendrick's discography and his ascension, if you will, the type of artist that he was looked at, if he doesn't drop To Pimp a Butterfly right then, does he have the acclaim that from an artistic standpoint, like does it? I don't know.
I feel like people would still sleep though. That's the thing about Kendrick Lamar's career. I feel like he didn't really grab a whole lot of people until Drake took the bait.
And that's bad.
No, seriously. Like when you think about as a collective whole, like we have to view it as we're not the same. They not like us, essentially. You know what I'm saying? As far as being a music fan, there's people that I know that did not rock with any Kendrick album as a whole, except for Good Kid, Mad City. They appreciated To Pimp a Butterfly. Damn was cool. These are just people that I know. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I feel like once Drake took the bait, a lot of people start appreciating him more and maybe even backlogging his catalog and saying, "Oh, he's for real." That's how I personally feel. I could be wrong though.
Yeah,
I feel that Damn is the one that actually made people start paying attention to him, because Damn was like, I could do what y'all do and I can do it better. Because when he dropped, like the acclaim came with Good Kid, Mad City. You know what I mean? They put him on the radar. You know what I mean? And then he dropped To Pimp a Butterfly, and that pissed a bunch of people off. Like, that were expecting another Good Kid, Mad City. So it did give him the artistic expression.
Sure.
You know, and then he dropped Damn. Like, I didn't like that. Well, let me give y'all a little bit more of what y'all like, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of what I do, because there's some off records on there as well.
Sure.
And he did that on Damn. And
yeah, to me, Damn seemed like more of a return back to like the Good Kid Section 80 days, a little bit more. Like, okay, let me show you I can still do these records, especially with like Humble and
I think it's a cycle, because he went back to the artistic expression with Mr. Morale.
Yeah.
And then he came back with GNX.
Yeah.
Again. So it's like,
I got y'all where I want
exactly.
you. Yeah.
He that's just the cycle of how he decides to release his projects. Now, do I think that what was the question? Could he have dropped that at the same time?
Does it affect his trajectory if he doesn't drop that in that specific place?
I can't really, looking at his discography, I can't say that, just because one thing about Kendrick, his albums, is when he drops something, you know exactly where he is mentally. You know what I mean? Maybe if the soundscape was different, maybe, but the content is always the same. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it switches his trajectory or not. Maybe it goes further, because if the music changes, I think that was the only difference between all of them, because the theme in all of his albums are the same. You know what I mean? I just think that the music is different.
Sure. What do you think, Jay?
I think he could have dropped To Pimp a Butterfly right now. You know, I don't think he could have dropped GNX after Good Kid, Mad City. You know, it's almost, in a way, it's almost comparatively speaking to his other work, it's almost kind of celebratory, almost a victory lap, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, To Pimp a Butterfly.
In a car.
Yeah, exactly. But To Pimp a Butterfly is like, look, man, these are the times, and honestly, the times that we're in right now, To Pimp a Butterfly might even be more relevant to what's going on. You know, I don't think it was calculated. I think when he, you know, because I just remember at that time, We Gonna Be All Right meant something more than just a single, you know. And I think that became an anthem. And if you know, it's almost something we need to hear right now. We Gonna Be All Right, because we're living in strange times, you know. So I think that him putting out that album was perfect. But I think that's why I have such high regard for To Pimp a Butterfly, because to me it's almost like that's his what's going on.
Yeah, like, but the thing about that, To Pimp a Butterfly, to me, is like, we as the culture have grasped onto All Right as that song. You know what I mean? As that song is that album, but really that album, man, he was expressing a lot of self-doubt in himself.
Can I get $1 or
can I
borrow?
How much a dollar costs?
How much a dollar costs? Yeah.
Think that's a comment over here.
Yeah, straight up. That's a powerful ass song.
It is. But like what you like that song, like it messes with me sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I remember it's borderline suicidal. You know what I mean? Like he loving you is complicated. He's talking to himself.
Yeah.
Screaming at himself.
Yeah, like, man, you ain't no leader. Like, what? You got all of this stuff going on. Who you think you are? You know what I mean? Then he had the song after that where he was faking drunk. You know what I mean? All of it is just music about himself and where he's at. You know what I mean? And I know I've gravitated to that album just because I find myself in there sometimes.
Nah, for real.
In that space.
The thing about that album too, though, is that album is so timeless. I feel like it could be released at any time, period.
Yeah.
It's just that you can't really pick and choose what album would come after Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah, I think that's like the question that I have is by no means at all questioning if To Pimp a Butterfly could come out at any given time in America's history for that matter.
Yeah,
I think it could drop almost any time and be great. It was just more so like very specifically to him project him becoming who he is right now and how important that is. Which brings me to the second question: is there a time and place for artists to drop certain music? And should it be calculated, or is a more organic approach better? You know,
I think an artist should do exactly what they want to do, even if we're living in, strange days like we are now. If you want to drop the most celebratory, we outside having a good time album, that might be your political statement, as opposed to you coming in something a little bit more heavy-handed. I don't think you can drop music that isn't true to who you are as an artist. If you are not someone who, most artists, in fact, I don't think there's any artist as far as hip hop is concerned who has a Good Kid, I'm sorry, but a To Pimp a Butterfly.
Really either, but
yeah, it was because it seemed like it was a struggle in places for Kendrick to do, so I think if you are an artist who, expresses yourself in a way that makes it to where you are just happy and trying to tell people about your happiness and how great your life is, that is who you are. That is your statement. Don't try to do If These Walls Could Talk or how much a dollar cost. That is not who you are.
Yeah.
That'd probably be the most calculated wrong thing any artist could do if they all of a sudden wanted to start, it's like, hey, let me do some backpack shit right now. Like, I don't want to hear that. Even, and if you're going to do it in your lane. Like, when Jeezy does your album like The Recession, it was still a Jeezy album.
Yeah, that's my second favorite Jeezy album.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it was straight up street shit in his first album in the TM 101, which is to me a classic. But I love The Recession.
Bonafide.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that you can't force music into the time if you don't have the wherewithal or the inspiration to do things that are, you don't try to fit what's going on if that's not who you are as a person.
Yeah.
That's not really art, is it?
No,
Nah.
no, that is product.
I mean,
Exactly.
there is an artist that did try to do that, tried to make a To Pimp a Butterfly, and it just, a lot of people loved it. They love him.
Is this Logic?
He's one of them, but I thought Born Sinner was diet. To Pimp a Butterfly too, man.
I never thought of it like that.
I wasn't even a big fan of Born Sinner like that.
I wasn't, but when I heard it, I was like, man, this sounds like you trying to do that, man.
Yeah.
It just didn't hit for me. And then he came with Forest Hills, and it was like, okay.
Yeah, that seemed more his speed to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like as long as the artist is remaining authentic to themselves, I don't think there is a period of time or a style that needs to be muted, you know what I'm saying, in general of what's going on outside. I think they should just release whatever they feel. And Kendrick might be the poster child of that when it comes down to it, because none of his albums sound the same. People don't like, what's it called, Mr. Morale. It's a therapy session.
It's a hard album to listen.
It is, you know what I'm saying? And it's not one of the albums that I go back to a lot, but I appreciate it for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to kind of find yourself in those moments with the artist. I don't think there's me personally, I don't like artists that chase sound. So I don't want to hear you try to give me an authentic version of yourself with an updated kit if it isn't true to you.
Yeah.
I can't think of an artist that does what Kendrick does outside of Andre 3000.
Outkast, because like Outkast actually has the kind of, so when you think of a Good Kid, Mad City into To Pimp a Butterfly, that's kind of the same way as Southern Playalistic into AT-Aliens. There were people that did not like AT-Aliens at all.
I was one of those.
Then they followed it up with Return of the Gangsta on not Stank on You, but Aquemini. It was like a return of the, you're gonna get a mix of both of this, and I'm gonna explain to you why.
Yeah. I had to grow to like AT-Aliens. You know what I mean? Because when I first heard it, like, granted I was a kid. Sure. You know what I mean? But like, I loved Elevators. Yeah. And then like when I listened to the album, I'm like, man, this don't sound like what I'm used to. You know what I mean? But then,
but it still had Jazzy
the more
Bell
I listened to it,
and Wheels of Steel on it. Though.
That one was fire.
The more I listened to it, like, cause the record, what was it?
Grown Old,
Extraterrestrial. That was one of my favorite records on there. Waylon, Mainstream, Babylon.
It's very similar to what Kendrick did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. Because I can't really. I mean, I think he's kind of a generational artist, and that's you know, in that aspect. I double your guys' sentiments. I you know, obviously as an artist, like I feel like it's so easy nowadays to look at art through the lens of commerce and product, as opposed to like make your art and then figure out how to market it in a way that's going to reach the people that you want to reach, because everything is kind of focused on virality and trying to reach as many people as possible instead of your people. And I don't know anybody else who could have made it To Pimp a Butterfly, that type of album, and had it have that type of impact either. You know what I mean? Because look, it's a great album, but there are a lot of great artists out there that have dropped albums pretty close to as good as To Pimp a Butterfly in a reasonable type of realm, I would say. And, you know, to me, the importance is, or the, what makes it great is that he was the artist that he was, and then he did that anyways. So
like the closest person on the run, like the first two album run to that, to me, outside of like your Kanye's and all that stuff, the one that just almost got there, but it fell off, was Lupe, man.
He was who I was thinking too.
First two projects, man, he was.
He was on to something.
Yeah, and then Lasers came out, and you know he had that label dispute, and then it was over from there. But
the first two singles was fire from that album, and then it was just like the album just wasn't it.
Yeah.
But this is also, again, this is why so many of us were so excited to see an artist like Kendrick become more mainstream and a star, is because like, oh, he's bringing that to the forefront. So
he's being 100% authentic at the end of the day, man.
And especially in a generation where, in times where like they were dumbing down everything, man, and it was just.
Lupe had a song called "Dumb It Down."
Yeah, everything was just stupid.
Was that on Lasers?
It was.
I thought it was on Mixtape.
It was on the Cool.
It was on the Cool. My bad. It's just different artists, especially in today's day and time. There's people that want to put out music just to be putting out music, and there's some people that put out music that is a direct reflection of them and what they're going through. And this is what I feel like giving to you. So
that's the way it's supposed to.
That's the way it's supposed to be. But the artistic expression has differentiated between that and being a part of the algorithm, playing to that. So that's just where we are in that. So shout out to artists that are similar to Kendrick that can do that and remain true to themselves and still make good music.
Exhibit said it best. It's a shame niggas in the rap game only for the money and the fame.
Paparazzi.
And then the Outlaws came through and cut his ass up for saying that shit.